Welcome to the Business of Being a Postgrad, where we share real stories, experiences, and insights from postgraduate students here at Durham University Business School. Each episode explores the highs, the challenges, and everything in between. Our conversations are split into three sections: life, learning, and lessons. So, whether you're considering postgraduate study, already on your journey, or simply curious about the people shaping the future of business, this podcast is your inside look. Hi, I'm John. In this episode of The Business of Being a Postgrad, I sit down with Anna, an MSc Management consulting student from Ukraine. Anna explores her passion for consulting and how the program and international experiences offered at Durham are helping to shape her future career. First up, life, your journey, your experiences, and what made Durham feel right for you. Hi Anna, thank you for joining us on The Business of Being a Postgrad today. If you could just start by introducing yourself and telling our audience a little bit about your background.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm Anna. I have a kind of a very twisted story of everything, how I came up with an idea to join Durham. I'm initially from Ukraine. I was born and raised there. I moved to Poland and I studied there. And after the outburst of the war, my family moved here because of the very nice possibility from the UK government to kind of support us. And that was the moment when my brother joined the Durham University. And I remember him calling me and saying, you know what, it's nothing like you told me about your university. It's so much like a fairy tale. We just had this formal dinner and no one used the phones and it was so interesting. And he kept telling me about all of those projects that he had. And finally, after 3 or 4 years of work experience, I was again thinking about joining the university because the way he described it was so magical. I started getting envious and decided that I wanted to go back.
So was he happy to know that you'd applied to Durham?
I'm not sure about that. You know how big sisters he can be. So he's definitely not mad anymore, but he was very surprised when I told him that.
Did having him here help with the transition, moving up to Durham? Were you based elsewhere in the UK before you came to Durham?
So my family moved to Derbyshire, but I didn't live there. I just stayed in Poland because I worked there. Yeah, and then so I just moved my entire life from Poland to here, and definitely having a brother really helped. You know, those suitcases were very heavy. A couple of 5 or 6 years of my life in Poland trying to transfer it all here. And it was a very happy surprise that I got a place in Ernest's place in Giles Gate and found out that my brother lives 5 minutes away from me. So yeah, he became, you know, the strong man for me for the rest of the year for sure.
So is he in his second year then?
He's in his second year.
What's he studying?
He's doing engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very happy with it, and definitely was a great thing to have him at the beginning, since even though you have your college at the beginning and then you meet people from the business school, I studied in a business school, and then people who I live with, but then everyone is very new and you still feel kind of out of place. So it was very great to know that someone has my back throughout the first couple of weeks.
And how is living in Durham compared to Poland? Where were you based in Poland?
I lived in Warsaw, so the capital.
Yes, so biggest city.
It's very different, but I cannot really tell you whether that's a positive or negative difference. It's definitely refreshing. It's very nice to see a lot of nature around me and kind of people knowing each other. That's a definitely thing that I was missing in a big city. It was a very hard change for me to adapt to the transport schedule here. Okay. I wasn't prepared for it to be more like a suggestion of a schedule rather than an actual schedule. But other than that, it is very easy to fall in love with Durham. I have to be honest.
So what was one of your first impressions of Durham when you arrived then?
I got unusually lucky. And I just tend to get lucky with these things, especially here. But the first time I was in Durham, I was visiting my brother and kind of seeing the city. It was sunny. It was the end of spring, I think. So just before the break, not a lot of students, so I kind of explored the city. I just liked the way everything is kind of preserved in this one moment, and everyone is, I guess, run on that student energy. Everyone is like powered up. That's how I felt, and you can see and feel the spirit of university all throughout the city, and it kind of makes you feel that you are inside of a community, and it just made me feel very safe.
I think a big part of that community is down to our collegiate system, right?
Absolutely.
So you're a member of Stephenson?
Yeah, Stephenson College.
So how has that experience been so far? What have you been involved in with the college?
I've studied before during my undergrad, and in Poland it's a completely different system. So when I moved here, I was very interested in how everything is going to play out, and probably, especially in the beginning, Stephenson's College was the best place for me to kind of spend my time. And it was very interesting how many different people I've met. And I felt like I was welcomed, but at the same time, I met so many different people from very different industries. And that was very unusual for me, because I would usually go and meet people from my course. And it felt very nice kind of to see the different perspectives and meet so many different people right away.
Studying different programs across
definitely. A lot of PhD students as well. So it was very nice. And I just generally felt like someone took care of me. I was really impressed by the way they communicated before I came here, because I was very worried that I'm going to be lost. There's so many things. There's university, there's college. For me, it's hard to see the difference. Where would I live? How would I adapt?
It's quite a lot of information pre-arrival to absorb, right?
But in my experience, they were very great with sending out the very structured instructions. And I was able to prepare for everything beforehand. And I'm very much this type A personality person. I need to have everything planned out. And it was perfect for me in that way. I knew where I was going. I knew what my schedule was. I knew that my evenings were taken care of, especially I could meet people right away and I wouldn't feel that much homesick. During my first week, I also got the invitation to the meeting of first generation students. So whenever you are the first generation in your family to get a university education, you are able to join that group. And Stephenson is now creating this kind of community inside. And it was also a very big help for me as well, because I felt like I have a lot of very basic, very dull questions, and I have no one to turn to. I have no connections. None of my personal experience helped me with navigating the university and experience here. So it was a very great head start as well.
Next, we're diving into learning, the classes, experience, and the skills that have really shaped your program so far. So Anna, what was it that drew you to an MSc in Management Consulting, and how do you feel that will help bridge the gaps in understanding your understanding of management and operations?
So when I was doing my undergrad studies, I did management and marketing, and I already was interested in the topic, but I was never sure where do I want to apply that knowledge. And I was mid second year of my studies when the pandemic started. And it was a great time for me to kind of focus on applying to more jobs. And it's terrifying to say, but more than 5 years ago, I found an opportunity with McKinsey, because they were also actively involved with my previous university, and I applied. And it took me almost 3 months to go through all of their interviews. I think there were either 6 or 8 interviews in total. So they're outstretched for a very long time, and I got the feedback that I'm not the best candidate after the last one. Oh. It was devastating, but I just started thinking about how I felt during preparing and how I felt during the interviews themselves. And I realized that my mind worked so much more efficiently, and like I felt like I was so inspired and really curious. So I kind of had this bookmarked to kind of go back to whenever I will be able to do that. But once I finished my undergrad, I was more focused on getting some work experience. So I went to advertising and management in Poland, and it was a very great experience as well. I kind of wanted to make sure I can sustain myself completely. And after that, I kind of hit this moment of understanding that I don't think I have enough knowledge to grow in these positions. I don't feel like the just general experience helps me now. And I feel like I want to have a bit more of academic background. And that's how I started looking for consulting, different consulting programs. And that's how my brother once called me and said that Durham was great. So I just kind of started researching the program there, and I really liked the way everything was kind of shown. So a lot of practicality. I really like that there is a possibility to have a business project instead of a business dissertation.
Yes.
It kind of showed me that you could right away jump into something very practical there. And it's very nice that you have this kind of a very big variety of choices that you can choose for your final kind of project.
So for our audience that might not know what that business project is compared to dissertation, do you maybe want to just briefly explain the difference between that and the formal classic dissertation that people might be aware of?
Yeah, so business project is basically a dissertation as well, but you don't do all of the academic research just based on the books or your experience, but you also get a chance to collaborate with an existing organization. I had been to a lot of open days when I was researching the program, and I was very impressed by the previous graduates mentioning working with the big companies and even getting hired later on. And it just sounded like a very nice experience to kind of connect the companies, work with them for 3 months, and then put your experience in your dissertation and also showcase yourself to the employers as well.
And yeah, that's available across all MSc Management programs and MSc Business Analytics as well. So it's a great opportunity for you to get those hands-on experiences. When you were researching Durham, what modules stuck out for you? What were you interested in? And have you studied any of those yet? And have there been any challenges, or is there anything surprised you with any of the modules?
So I think that I was very focused on having very specialized modules, since I've already had a more general approach. So for me, it was very important to have a very to see that the professors that would be working with me are the professionals in the area they worked, and they have a very specialized knowledge as well. That was what stood out to me as well with the consulting module, because I could read a bit more about the professors who will be with me during that journey. But I also attended a couple of open days, like I mentioned, and I remember also people saying that the international study tour is something that is possible in the business school. And that obviously just made my eyes huge, and then they were just blinking with interest. I was like, okay, I need to see how it's done. So I watched a lot of videos. There was like a presentation of a previous experiences, and I was like, I really am interested in joining that, because you also get a real consulting case there, and you go to the other country with your study group.
Yes, it's a 5-day study trip. Is in April, I believe?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it's available to, again, management students and some other programs as well. So yeah, another great opportunity. So yeah, what modules have you covered so far, and what are you looking forward besides that module in the next term?
So I during this term I just had my core modules, so I could kind of adjust. So I had the obviously consulting, then consultancies, consultants, and ethics, organizational behavior, and strategy. And I might be just a tiny bit biased, but I am absolutely loving the consulting module and consultancies, and ethics. Both of the professors there are the pathway leaders, and you can see the passion through them. I know sometimes it's kind of embarrassing to be passionate about studying or like being such a bookworm, but the way Professor Julie and Professor Anna just kind of tell us about their real cases and the way they structure the whole lectures and seminars. For me, it's outstanding. I feel like I'm in for adventure every single time I'm there. We had a very nice project with Professor Ono, where we had to transform an academic paper into a poster, and then we had like a poster market where we had to present the idea from the academic paper through our poster in a very short way to present it to our group mates, and then we kind of find the connections between our topics and so on. And I was very positively surprised how at the end I felt like I remember every single topic that we talked about, and I can draw and connect the dots. Yeah, so most of the things usually on those like profile modules for me are the ones which really make me very enthusiastic. And I think the way that the consultancy module is also structured is very nice, since we get to have also the cooperation with external companies. So you are constantly being pushed to do something that you will do on your profession. So that's very nice. But then you also are kind of guided by the professors. And then the rest of the modules which I mentioned are also very enjoyable. I just really like the way the professors are very intentional with the way they are talking to us and interacting with us, going around the audience, asking us questions. That's really refreshing as well.
Yeah, it's great to hear that you're really enjoying the teaching style, and it sounds like you've got some great professors, very passionate. It's great to hear. How has your real world experience and that professional experience you have helped you?
I think it makes a big difference. In my case, it wouldn't just suit me to go and get the master's degree right away, because I needed to have this real world exposure. I felt like it just made me a bit more accountable for whatever projects I'm doing, and having this real life experience of facing the clients, understanding that there's a lot of responsibility that you are bearing, kind of gives you this perspective that you can see your study projects from a different angles. It's just sometimes in real world, things aren't fair, or there are so many factors that you cannot really kind of control everything. And it just gives you a bit of a more realistic perspective when you are transitioning to studying.
Well, it sounds like you've got that experience is really helping, and you're very self-aware and you're very prepared for what is a busy year. That leads us into lessons where we talk about the key takeaways and advice for future postgrads. So how do you hope that your time at Durham will help shape your future career, both internationally and particularly in supporting Ukrainian businesses?
I think that just having this perspective and kind of this international exposure would be a great help for me to really have the focused understanding of how to make the businesses better, to help them rebuild themselves as well, because obviously right now the businesses in Ukraine are in a very tough spot, so definitely they will need help in the future. But I believe that getting the international academic experience as well as working experience would be very beneficial and very helpful in the future as well. In that regard, I think also kind of having the professionals in the industry and the people who, for example, in my course, I was honored and kind of proud to be among those people with me, since all of them either had a very kind of extensive background, also with their own work experience or their network, and they are very talented and very hardworking people. So you definitely are also able to like meet potential colleagues here, not only in the face of professors, but also the students who are with you.
And am I right that you are a student representative for the program?
Yes. So on our pathway on consulting, we have 3 student representatives, and I'm one of them. And we were able also to kind of gather the feedback. We also already had the first meeting, but we were sharing our feedback from our group to the program director, and kind of show our concerns or things that we were happy with. And I think it's a general consensus as well among the consulting students that we were really, really happy to see the amount of this kind of practical experience that we get in our specialized courses. So, yeah.
And this could be related to your professional experience or your academic experience, but what's one of the most meaningful pieces of feedback that you've received from, it could be a classmate or a lecturer?
I think that in my case, that would be still from a work experience. Not necessarily a very positive one, was from my previous manager, who told me that she can see the eagerness, but there is a lack of structure, and there's always something you could strive for. And I remember very vividly one thing that she said to me, that is, you shouldn't be afraid of coming to a higher up and ask them for help. But before you do that, make sure you are working through your solution very thoroughly, and do not come with just empty hands, but show that you've done the work and you just need support. And that really stuck with me, and I'm trying to kind of live by it and follow it in my daily life.
Yeah, I think that's some great advice. So to kind of flip it back onto you now, what advice would you give to somebody considering studying a postgraduate degree or an MSc Management degree at Durham University Business School?
I think, first of all, and that's, I think, a very serious moment where you have to ask yourself if you are really driven, if you really want to do it. Because sometimes you are not ready. It was a great moment when I felt that I'm actually very eager and very driven. And you have to be honest with yourself. You're gonna be asked to read a lot of things. You're gonna be prompted to think critically, to question things. You will be confronted. And if you are really eager and if you really want it, you will enjoy it. Because you would feel how it just kind of makes you go out of your comfort zone and shows you how it will be in your real life, in your real practice. But if you're not ready yet, it could be a big stress and just give you a false opinion of the program. I thoroughly enjoy everything that's happening. It's a bit cheesy to kind of say like, oh, I'm a big fan of studying, but I was always very, very motivated to study. And I think it's so nice that you can get a lot of reading material, a lot of preparation material here. And you could just have a very deep and meaningful discussions, because a lot of people come prepared and you are expected to be very deliberate with your output, and you're expected to be a very mature student. Mm-hmm. And kind of be able to manage your own time, your own studies. Definitely,
that's definitely something that all of our students would agree with. That yes, self-study and self-management of your time is very important. So looking ahead now, what's one thing you're looking forward to over the next the rest of your time at Durham? You've got a couple of terms to go. Could be socially, academically, and then post Durham. What is your kind of career plan? Where would you like to see yourself go?
When it comes to my expectations or kind of hopes for the next terms, I think definitely the international study tour, I mentioned it. I'm looking forward to it. But I also think that I just generally want to enjoy Durham in spring. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of time having this program just for a year, and I'm already very sad about it, because I feel like I need more time. So I'm just hoping that I will be able to experience even more kind of long walks, talking to my classmates, and just enjoying Durham in general and getting the best of the opportunities. And when it comes to my expectations from kind of career-wise, well, it's been 6 years. I think I'm ready to try another round with McKinsey. Yeah. But generally, I'm just very eager to try and find a job here in the consulting industry specifically, because I just can feel the drive and energy, which usually accompanies me during the core modules and just generally when I'm trying to do the preparation for the for the assessments or for the assignments for academics. So I think it would be just a very enjoyable and nice outcome if I would be able to find a job in the industry.
Well, you've got a couple of terms to go and lots of more experiences to have and lots more connections and networking opportunities. So I think there'll be lots to look forward to. Okay, Anna, so we're just going to finish with our quick fire round. So we're just going to ask you a couple of questions and we're just looking for the first thought that comes to your mind. So Are you ready?
Yep.
Great. So we'll jump straight in. Favorite cafe in Durham?
I think the White Bird, the one... I think it's not a White Bird.
White Church? Okay, yeah. Near the library?
Yeah, near the library. Yeah, I just had a very great couple of lunches there.
Yeah, it's very nice. Favorite inspiring book or podcast?
I'm currently trying to read Nexus, which is quite interesting. So I will not comment on it yet, but so far, very interesting.
What company, I might know the answer to this, what company would you love to work for?
I have to choose something different now. Let's just say that in that case, it's going to be Procter & Gamble.
Nice. Hardest module so far?
So far, I have to be consulting.
And favorite lecturer?
It's very hard for me to choose. I cannot do this.
Who's it between? Remind us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Professor Julie, Professor Ono are my favorites for sure.
One song that's on your study playlist?
Oh my God. Honestly, it's Endel, something like study beats.
Okay.
I need some rhythm instead of words.
And finally, one word to describe your MSc consulting cohort.
Ambitious.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us today, Anna, and sharing your experiences.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Don't forget to subscribe. We've got plenty more stories coming your way.